Oh,
And I
my.
realized, is this me creating this like roadblock? Like, or is it not the time yet?
Mm.
But you don't know that while you're in the process.
Mhm.
And then you feel lazy if you think that you're just going to sit back and let it happen.
Mhm.
And then you're wrestling with the idea of, well, if I try to force it, or if I'm not feeling it but I'm trying to make it happen, is this going to ruin it? Oh, now things aren't working. Okay, well, I ruined it, and now you're doing this huge dance all over the place. And the gift of it is, so make the mistake. Be in the process of making the
Yeah.
mistake,
Let it
and
all.
then allowing yourself to sit back. But don't sit back too far, because then you'll fall out of the picture. And then you got to come back into, like, we just have to navigate the flow of the unknown
Mm. Yeah.
and allow it to be okay if it works or if it doesn't work, but knowing that we're participating in the fruition of our own desires.
Yeah, what you just said, I have in my, Course in Miracles book, I have all these notes from my group that my discussion group that I used to attend that people would say, and one of my friends said something to the degree of what you just said about something like peace is becoming comfortable with the unknown, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And
But
it
comfort is a different definition for a lot of people. So we don't, and again, I'm speaking from experience over this last year and a half, all of it. It was so full. It was lovely. Um, Comfort doesn't mean sitting around and eating chips. Done
unless
it.
it's one of those days.
Doesn't work. It causes all that mental disturbance.
Unless it's one of those days. But
There is a day, there is a moment for it, and then you don't turn yesterday's moment into today's moment into tomorrow's habit.
correct.
You allow a moment to be its moment, and
Mm.
then you move on. You come back to the consistency that you know will serve, under the humility, under the surrender of contributing to your greater vision. And if I hadn't gone through what I've gone through over the last, I know for sure, 4 years, but, and not because of, COVID or anything like that. It was just life.
Mhm.
It would have happened with or without the restrictions.
Mhm.
It would have happened with or without careful having to, tiptoe here and there and keep distances. It would have happened, period. But what I've come to realize is we have to put that bigger vision first. We
Mhm.
we have to allow ourselves to remember that we are in the picture of the bigger vision first and foremost.
And that speaks to what the title of this 24-hour episode is, which is what is your why in life?
Mm.
For me, and for me, the bigger vision is divine. It
Mhm.
does relate to God. But let me ask you, what is your why? How would you characterize your why in life?
My why is a picture. It's an image from almost, well, over 25 years ago. And it was after my husband, now husband, of almost 25 years. Um, we were sitting in our apartment, and we had just had one of the deepest talks that we've had. And the picture that came to mind was us sitting on a porch, old,
Mhm.
like the grays were in. and the stress had been had, and we finally were in a space of where we get to sit back on some wooden rocking chairs and just rocking and looking out over our view into nature. There's mountains and the scenery, and there's trees, and we know that we have children and grandchildren, and we're reflecting on the life and knowing that we've grown
Mm,
together to
mhm,
be in this place.
mm,
And that was my why, knowing that I've lived the life of where I got to be a mother, where I got to have my children, where I got to see them grow up and have their children, where we contributed to the lives of others to help to make it better. That we, and this was even before we declared like a commitment in our relationship to God.
mm,
Um, but that we knew that we were going to live a life where we committed to growing old together.
mm,
And that was it. That was the why. And from that image, over the last 24 years, I got to turn around and look, take a 360 view
mm.
and see what the backdrop of all that was,
Yeah,
what how wide that land spread,
yeah, yeah.
how it was serving to contribute to other people, what gratitudes people were sharing with me from their lives,
Mhm,
going forward into the life of where I can sit on the porch and share stories with my husband.
mhm.
And to know that that commitment would be that long and that strong going forward.
25
Like,
years.
I had no, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even one that was looking into getting married. And here I am having this vision, and 25 years later,
Mm.
and we're celebrating our anniversary this weekend of getting together.
Okay. Is that tomorrow? Date? The actual
Sunday, the
Sunday?
21st. Go figure. And our song, like, Earth, Wind, and Fire, September. And I didn't even realize all the lyrics. I'm sitting here singing the lyrics wrong, and I didn't even know it was saying the 21st of September. I didn't even know it had the specific date in it. I'm walking down the aisle. I didn't care. It said September. I only found out like just over 5 years ago. It said the 21st.
Oh.
Oh, it's just the most beautiful things happen in the spaces where we allow and where we surrender to see that something wants for our vision, our
Mhm.
dreams, bigger than what we desire.
Yeah. I, it has me thinking about just, um, you hear spiritual teachers discuss picturing and envisioning the end of
Yeah,
the thing you want, because that means that you've had the journey. You've been on
yeah,
the journey, and it seems like that's what you did. I mean, it wasn't the end, but I mean,
yeah.
you had so many years.
Well, even in that moment, like,
Vision.
even if we croaked in those chairs, that we would be fulfilled, right?
Yeah,
And it was the fulfillment that I was feeling into.
yeah. You
And gift of the end, the gift of the end is now everything that comes is normalized.
Mhm.
It's not this big, whoa, I never would have imagined. I couldn't believe this could happen. No, it's because you've imagined the end. Everything
Right.
that comes before it is a part of the process.
That's an important point. That's a very important point. Wow.
So then you have that wealth. And wealth is not, riches is different than wealth. Let's be real.
Yeah, Stephanie said yes. Yes, she agrees.
And
Yeah.
Riches is only a part of what wealth is, depending on how you decide to give it value. Wealth is how and what we give value to what is in our lives.
Mhm.
Our well-being, healthy well-being, mindfulness, all those beautiful things are part of what makes anything in our life have
Mhm.
value. And then that adds to what people call a rich life or a
Yeah,
wealthy life.
yeah. Well, I wanna remind, listeners that this 24-hour episode is, helping to raise funds for, a very important organization, Georgia Appleseed Center for Law and Justice, who was just on, in the previous hour leading up to my conversation with you, and I'm asking everyone to please visit, the website, and here it is right here. Visit this website, and also when you get to the website, you'll see their new, AI, uh, what should I tool, and, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it is pretty cool, and but the point of the tool, it's called Seed More, is for parents who are interested in how they can advocate for their children in better ways when it comes to schools, and the organization addresses housing issues and also fairness for children in schools. So please visit the website and you can learn more about the organization. But I also wanted to make the point with you when you mentioned your vision. Uh, it really touched me because when I think about, I don't have any kids, okay, and I've always wanted kids. I've always wanted children. I've always wanted to be married. I've always wanted kids. And when I think about where I am now, okay, I don't have kids, right? And not gonna have kids because of my age now. But I don't feel the boohoo, I didn't have kids. I don't feel that. But what I do feel or think about is how old they would be, and they would be young adults. And in this place where I am now, I would be able to reflect on their years, of growing up, and, just the events that took place and watching them grow, and, the experiences. That's what I think about. I don't, I think about, and then now we would be able to be, two adults, but still, mother and child. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I really understood what you were saying because it wasn't the experience I had. It was the experience that I wish that I could have had, that I think about from time to time, just like, oh yeah, we would have been through all of that, you know, and then we'd be here, and they might have kids, and with just whatever it would be right now. So I miss the experience also of what it would be right now.
I
Not
totally understand that. And it's funny because, again, at the time that I had the vision, I didn't have any kids. I didn't know if I could have any kids.
right.
My mom experienced miscarriage after I was born. I was born almost 2 months early.
Wow.
I was a preemie.
Mhm.
And so there was high risk written in my story. And if you've heard, well, you've heard
Yeah.
my my testimony, I experienced multiple miscarriages. And September, I believe, is pregnancy and whatchamacallit loss. It's the pink and blue ribbon.
Mhm.
I, I think it's September. September or October. I think it's September.
Yeah, 'cause October, I think, is Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah, for
Mhm,
breast cancer.
mhm, mhm.
And I had a plan for that too. I was like, well, I wasn't planning on getting married. And I wasn't really planning on having a partner per
Let me
se.
say this,
I was gonna go through IVF. I was gonna adopt. I had all those plans in place already from when I was in high school.
uh,
And
you
so
thought you didn't wanna give birth.
no, it wasn't that. I didn't want anything in the way of me becoming the mother that I could envision myself being. I made every possibility available.
Mm.
There was not going to be a reason I couldn't. Now, I also wasn't having the best of luck with relationships, so I had to kind of write that out of the story. So that's, that's part of the reason I was like, well, if this is how it's going to be, let me just have a contingency plan on the
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Because, yeah, I'm going to still be that mama. And in the end, I did get to have two. Two out of, I got to have my 25% chance of being pregnant and ended up with my two rainbow babies. So
Mm,
I'm just really grateful. And even in the space of where, like the relationship ain't so great, there's the phases that they go through. And one of them's in the phase a little stronger than the other. And I'm still mama, and
yeah,
I will be unapologetically
yeah,
loving and praising on him. No matter, oh yeah, 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 blow it off. Well, okay, fine. But I'm here.
mhm,
And this is part of the story. This is just a blip along the road to that end result on
mm,
that porch.
mm.
So
Wow. I have a comment, that your face is just glowing as you speak these truths.
mm,
That's from Stephanie, yeah,
oh, thank you.
yeah.
It's funny, I think we all glow when we give when we give light, and I know you'll take the words from what I'm saying. When we give light to our vision,
Mhm,
we definitely light up,
mhm.
but so does our vision.
Mm.
And and then we're empowering it, we're charging it, right?
Yes.
It's like when I was charging my phone, that little corner is showing there's this pulse, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's getting more and more charge. And I think that's for everything that we give our attention to in
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
And so that's why there's still that responsibility of humility. Um, again, that I'm holding under surrender is the fact that let me be responsible with where I shine my light.